The main character is Zoe Hull, a teenage girl who is struggling to cope with her mother's death. She feels like she still sees her mother nearby and even talks to her. This has led to Zoe becoming emotionally closed off and straining her relationship with her father, Todd, who tries to reconnect with her, for example, by teaching her how to hunt. During one of their hunting trips, he gives her an important piece of advice: to always finish what she starts. This leaves a strong impression on her. After returning from the hunt, Todd tells Zoe that they might need to see a therapist again, as she is withdrawing from everything she cares about. This upsets Zoe, and they begin to argue, which has clearly happened before. Fortunately, they are interrupted by her best friend, Lewis Washington, who arrives in his car to pick her up. On the way to school, they exchange insults with bullies in another car, and also notice their classmate, Crystaly, setting up a strange device in the middle of a field. They assume it's just another prank. At school, Lewis tries to ask Zoe to prom, but she dislikes the idea. He also thinks that she is distancing herself from others, which irritates her, just like it does her father. Zoe goes to the bathroom after Lewis accidentally spills a drink on her and finds Anna Jellic doing something with the ceiling. Anna hastily leaves, and Zoe takes the opportunity to check what she was hiding there, but finds nothing. Several incendiary devices go off in town, including the one Chris left at the school. Due to the number of fires, the roads are blocked, and emergency services, police, and firefighters are overwhelmed. A van suddenly crashes into the school cafeteria with two armed teenagers inside, the leader Tristan Voy and Chris Jellic. Soon they are joined by Anna Jellic and Kip Quaid, who are also armed. Tristan asks everyone to use their phones to inform their parents about what's happening. Lewis composes a message to his mother saying he regrets nothing. Meanwhile, Zoe learns about what's happening from a wounded girl who enters the bathroom and dies there. The main character crawls through the ceiling and falls into the school kitchen, where a cook is also hiding. When Chris comes to investigate the noise, the cook tries to confront him, but he shoots her. After he leaves, Zoe exits the building through the back door. Meanwhile, all the students have talked to their parents, and Tristan calls the school administration to report the shooting. By protocol, before announcing a school lockdown, they need to confirm the situation. So Tristan asks all the students to start live streaming from their phones and demands that the video hosting companies not interrupt the streams, or he will start shooting people. As he begins a speech about entropy and truth, the school principal and a security guard arrive at the cafeteria to see what's going on. The principal tries to talk Tristan out of his actions, apologizing for not listening to him before, but Chris shoots him, allowing the guard to escape. Tristan asks everyone to turn off their streams, except for the one with the most viewers. It turns out to be Lewis and his live stream on the school's social page. He is tasked with following Tristan and recording everything, while the hostages are ordered to barricade the hole in the wall made by the van. Outside, Zoe decides to leave, but returns when she hears voices. She stops a group of students near the school entrance and warns them about what's happening. Everyone, except Zoe's friend Cora, flees. Cora agrees to help Zoe warn the other classes still inside. One of the teachers thinks they are pulling a prank and ignores them. To get attention, they break a window in another classroom. This time they are believed, and the whole class escapes through the window while Zoe activates the fire alarm. It turns out to be futile, as Anna cuts the electricity. Immediately after the school administration announces the attack, a homemade bomb that Kip had planted earlier explodes. Finally, the police arrive, and Sheriff Tarsi begins to secure the perimeter. The situation is finally covered by the news, although they don't show the live stream but broadcast from outside. Frustrated, Tristan speaks into the phone camera, saying that the audience wants to see him, not some reporter. Meanwhile, Zoe searches the school to tell the remaining students to escape. However, Anna attacks her and starts shooting. Zoe is wounded in the leg but manages to escape and hide in a room filled with balloons. The balloons help her stay hidden until she ambushes Anna when she comes looking for her. The girls struggle for the gun, and Zoe ultimately overpowers Anna and shoots her. As Lewis continues to record, Tristan goes to the Spanish classroom to bring the students to the cafeteria. The teacher tries to calm him down, but Tristan forces her to take off her blouse. He is about to touch her when Lewis interrupts, saying he has some questions from the viewers, effectively diverting Tristan's attention from the teacher. Tristan needs as much attention as possible, so he is willing to answer these questions. Tristan explains that this plan took him 14 months because he had to study building plans, gather weapons, and more. A police officer goes to Tristan's house to talk to his parents but discovers that his mother is dead. Meanwhile, Zoe's father hears news of the shooting on the radio and decides to go to the school with a gun. In the cafeteria, Chris talks to the voices in his head when he hears news about the police arriving and starts shooting at them. Tristan hears the shots and decides to return, taking the entire Spanish class with him. Zoe sees them in the hallway, and when Kip goes in the opposite direction from the group, she decides to follow him. He tries to reach another classroom full of students, so Zoe appears in front of him to draw attention and make him chase her. She leads him across a slippery floor, and after he falls, she sprays him in the face with a fire extinguisher and hits him with it. She drags him into a janitor's room and handcuffs him to a chair, after which Kip confesses to Zoe that he's doing this because of bullying in middle school. She finds him pathetic and disgusting for using this as an excuse for murder. Taking his weapon, Zoe runs into another group of students and a teacher. Wanting to help them escape, she borrows a phone and calls Cora, who gives her phone to the sheriff so they can coordinate a plan. Sheriff Tarsi tells the journalists to film him instead of the school, and then calls Tristan on the phone. He distracts him with conversation while Zoe safely leads the students to the exit. However, this is shown on the news, allowing Tristan to realize the trick, so he hangs up and starts calling his accomplices. Zoe has Anna's phone, so she answers the call. Tristan tells her to come out, or he will start shooting people. As proof, he kills one of the students. Promising to come, Zoe returns to the hall and releases Kip, who feels guilty for what he's done and wants to die. Zoe tells him that he must face the consequences of his actions and expects him to help her, then gives him back his weapon. Meanwhile, Zoe's father also sneaks onto the school grounds with a gun to save his daughter. Zoe reaches the cafeteria, and Tristan starts asking her questions for the live stream. An enraged Chris wants to kill her for shooting his sister, but Tristan doesn't allow it, saying that everything must happen at the right moment. They are suddenly interrupted by Kip, who, after exchanging insults with Chris and Tristan, fires a shotgun, managing to wound Tristan in the shoulder before Chris kills him. During the shootout, Lewis is injured. Taking advantage of the distraction, he and Zoe escape, and Chris begins to chase them. They hide in the Spanish classroom, and while Zoe checks Lewis's wound, they confess their feelings for each other. Lewis also tells her about the explosives hidden in the van. Zoe leaves the classroom to check it out, and Chris finds her and begins chasing her again. This time, Zoe runs into the chemistry lab and turns on all the gas burners, then ignites them as Chris tries to approach her. However, her attempt to escape fails, and Chris still manages to catch her. He slams her head into the glass cabinet doors and throws her to the ground. Just as he is about to kill her, Todd shoots him, killing him. The police, hearing the shot, approach, and Zoe can do nothing but watch through the window as they arrest and take away her father. Afterward, Zoe takes Chris's rifle and heads back to the cafeteria, not forgetting to pick up Lewis's phone when she finds it on the floor in the hallway. She then sends Tristan a photo of Chris's body, takes control of the live stream, and tells Tristan that the world will remember her, not him, which drives him into a rage. Tristan grabs one of the explosives from the van and drags a student with him as he leaves the cafeteria. Zoe sees them leave, so she takes the opportunity to enter and tell all the hostages to run. While Tristan is gone, there remains the problem of the bomb in the van, which Zoe solves by shifting the van into reverse and jamming the gas pedal with Chris's rifle. This causes the van to drive outside and explode in the parking lot. The SWAT team uses this distraction to enter the building, and they accidentally arrest Zoe while she's trying to find Tristan. An explosion from a neighboring room distracts them, and they discover Tristan's body. While the SWAT team deals with it, Zoe sees her mother, who tells her she loves her and says goodbye before disappearing forever, leaving Zoe in tears. Later, outside the school, Sheriff Tarsi releases Zoe, shakes her hand, apologizes for the arrest, and praises her actions. In response, Zoe asks for permission to see her father. He's in a police car, and they reconnect, expressing how important they are to each other in their lives. After making sure Lewis is okay, Zoe notices Tristan secretly leaving the school. He had faked his death by disguising himself in another student's clothes so that the police initially thought the burned body was his. She grabs Todd's rifle and follows Tristan into the woods, where he retrieves money and a passport from a box he had hidden under a bridge as part of his plan. Without hesitation, Zoe shoots him from a distance and then approaches him. Noticing that he is still alive, she remembers her father's advice about unfinished business during hunting and picks up a large rock to finish Tristan off. However, when she throws it, she misses his head. Instead, the rock falls into the water. Zoe decides to leave him there to die, as suffering is what he deserves.